Good afternoon, friends. Today's topic of mine is going to be very, very interesting and very helpful for those who are in the process of designing the ideal strategy. I am not saying that I am an expert for telling you that how to design an ideal strategy, but whatever I have learned, whatever I have, read from different books, that I have put it into my presentation, which I believe will give you some kind of insight in order to focus on how you can actually design your strategy. Yeah, so without any further ado, I will definitely share my presentation with you, but give me a moment to settle down everything so that I am able to focus on. Just give me 1 minute. Yes, I'm sharing my presentation with you. Correct, here it is. So my today's presentation is based on how you can actually develop your leadership sorry, how you can actually develop your ideal strategic business plan. So to develop your strategic business plan, you have to have following things. For you, you will have to focus on certain principles which are very much required for you to start up the strategy development for the business plan. Now, first of all, you will have to focus on how to develop an ideal strategic business plan. So there are certain objectives which you should be focusing on. So at the end of the presentation, you will be able to discuss what strategic planning means. You will be able to explain how to implement an effective process in order to create an effective strategic plan. And at the same time, you will identify best practice procedures to communicate strategic planning ideas in a workshop. So the first thing before I go for, go in order to tell you that how you can design and develop a good strategic plan is, the first quote says that failing to plan is planning to fail. When you fail to plan on anything, you actually plan to fail. So what is a strategy? Strategy is basically an internal response of an organization to the demands of the external environment from a general point of view. What it is saying is strategy is something which is a kind of roadmap for you to focus on achieving something which you really want, and what external environment can offer you. So strategic planning will help us establishing the priorities. It will help us choose actions, it will help us create a game plan, and it will help us allocate the resources. Because for any company, you have got different priorities, you have got multiple options which are available. So you will have to finalize on which actions you are going to take. Okay, then you will have to focus on the game plan which you are going to create through the strategic intervention. And then what are the resources at your disposal which you can actually allocate to this strategic plan. Now the question is, why do strategic planning? So to tell you that why there is a need for a strategic planning, you will have to be very, very proactive about the future. Otherwise, if you don't plan, the possibility for you to focus on giving the desired outcome and desired result to your company may not be there. So strategic planning is basically a proactive approach, which is a path to reach to the future destination. And why we plan is to improve the performance. Why we plan? Because we have to solve the major issues at the macro level. We have to communicate what is more important. That is how we plan. Now there are certain questions which you need to ask to yourself. Where are we now? Whenever you are thinking of planning for any strategy, you are in the process of designing a strategic plan, you will have to focus on the first question, that where are you currently. Now the second question has to be, where do you need to go? And the third question has to be, how will you choose how will you close this particular gap of where you want to go and where you are currently? How will you monitor your progress? That will be the fourth question. So good strategic plan should have a right vision, it should have a flexibility, it should have a guiding decision which at the lowest level possible, and it should address the critical performance issues. It should have a balance between capability versus the want of the organization. Now, what are the prerequisites to planning? There are certain prerequisites. For example, leadership commitment. Who will do what? You will have to focus on, distribution of the job. That who will do what will be the role of me in the strategic plan, and what will be the role of all those stakeholders which are a part of the strategic plan. So what will each group do? That is the next question you will have to ask. How will we do it? When is the best time to do it? So all these prerequisites of the planning you will have to focus on. And then how you have to focus on? By beginning with the end in the mind. So when you begin with the end in the mind, then you design the strategic planning. Now, this is how we should start. Strategic planning is basically, the planning is actually a vital skill that organization must practice on a regular basis, because it forms the basis of most other actions of the organization which they must take. So setting goal and expectations of the organization through the strategic planning, right strategic planning, you can ensure achieving the personal as well as organization objective. If you don't have a right strategic plan with you, whatever goal you will set, whatever expectations you have, they will not be you will not be able to achieve those personal as well as organization objectives. So strategic planning is actually the managerial process of developing and maintaining a strategic fit between the organization objective and resources and its changing market opportunity. So you can see strategic plan is basically balancing between the resources in the hand as well as trying to map it with the organization objective by keeping a focus on the changing environment. So strategic planning is actually the managerial process of developing and maintaining a strategy fit between the organization objective and resources, and it's checking a changing market opportunity. Now when you focus on planning, so planning should include what? So planning includes the ability to identify opportunities, analyze problems, establish priorities and needs, allocate available resources. This is what planning should include. Planning also includes the ability to establish policies and procedures, objectives and standards of performance, forecast and budgets, programs and schedules. That is apart from the above which I have just shared with you. Strategic planning, let me put the background in front of you. The strategic plan drives all other plans, example, evaluation plan, sustainability plan, etc., by articulating basic concepts of vision, mission, goal, objective, and activities. Now, strategic planning actually determines whether an organization is going over the next several years, how it's going to get there, and how it will take if it got there or not. So that is what this background of strategic planning is. Let me continue it and let me stretch it a bit more. Strategic planning is a systematic process through which an organization agrees on and builds commitment to priorities that are essential to its mission and responses to the operating environment. That is what the background is. Now, developing a strategic plan depends upon following. What are those factors? Leadership. Number two, organization culture. Number three, complexity. Number four, organization environment. Number five, the size of the organization. Number six, expertise and planners. So that is what is. Yeah. So this is what it is. Just give me 1 minute, sir. Just give me a minute. Okay, now strategic planning. So it is like, other factors to consider in the strategic planning are: you will have to be very specific in your process. You will have to have a planning period and specific stakeholders participation. Yeah, the role of strategy is actually the corporate focus on corporate mission and objectives. Strategy, when you focus on strategy, it is for the corporate, it is for the business, it is for the function. Okay, and then you have the operating plans. You can see this vision and strategic loop, which says that vision and strategy is the center point of customer, it is the center point of finances, it is the center point of internal business processes, it is the center point of learning and growth. As shown in this particular graph, you can see what do you mean by finances? To succeed financially, how should we appear to our stakeholders? That is what it is. Then internal business process, to satisfy our stakeholders and customers, what business process must we excel at? And learning and growth, to achieve our vision, how we will be sustaining our ability to change and improve. And for the customer, to achieve our vision, how should we appear to our customer? And at the center, it is your vision and strategy. There's this thing called as sun tez on strategy. What do you mean by sun tez? It says know your enemy, know yourself, and your victory will not be threatened. So know the terrain, know the weather, and your victory will be completed. This is Suntel's strategy. Now, strategic marketing discussion by John Scully. He said, marketing strategy is a series of integrated actions leading to a sustainable competitive advantage. Now, when you focus on corporate mission, what do you mean by corporate mission? So, broad purpose of the organization, general criteria for assessing the long-term organization effectiveness, driven by heritage and environment, mission statement are increasingly being developed at the strategic business unit level as well. Now, examples of corporate mission. Now, I'm giving you the example of Singapore Airlines. Singapore Airlines is engaged in air transportation and related businesses. It operates worldwide as the flag carrier of the Republic of Singapore, aiming to provide services of the highest quality at reasonable prices for the customer and a profit to the organization. So, this is actually the now how they transform it into the mission. Now, let me quote it with the another example. It is Marriott's mission statement. They say, we are committed to being the best lodging and food service company in the world by treating employees in ways that create extraordinary customer service and shareholder stakes. Now, the corporate culture, the most abstract level of managerial thinking. How do you define culture? What is the significance of culture to an organization? How does marketing affects culture in the organization? So, corporate objectives and goals are: an objective is a long range purpose, not quantified and not limited to a time period. Example, increasing the return on stakeholders' equity. A goal is a measurable objective of the business, attainable at some specific future date that is through the planned action. So example is 10% growth in the next 2 years. Now, the summary of strategic planning is: you set a goal, you set an objective, then you do the SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, and then you design the strategy, implement it, and measure and evaluate the strategy, followed by, again looking at the goals, looking at your SWOT analysis, looking at your strategy, looking at your implementation, till you achieve your, uh, aim, your mission of the organization, or the final destiny of the organization. Now, strategic plan development, there are certain environment and internal assessment, strategic definition and implications. Now, for industry dynamics and implication, what are the major changes in industry dynamics and resulting opportunities risk? Plus, competitive assessment, what are your competitive strengths and weaknesses? At the second side, strategic definition and implications are strategic articulation. What strategy will you pursue over the next 3 years? Plus, strategic initiative, what will be the impact of major strategic initiative? Now, strategic plans and development, the third point is internal assessment. How does your current business emphasize fit with industry opportunity and competitive landscape? And the financial projections are: what are the expected financial results of your strategy? Now, when you talk about risk, contingency, and strategic alternative, what strategic alternatives have you considered? Now, this is what is called as the business pyramidal hierarchy. It says that vision of the organization is the top most important point, which remains at the top of the organization hierarchy, and then followed by mission, followed by objective, followed by strategy, followed by tactics, and followed by the plan. So this is how the hierarchy of the business planning looks like. Now, when you talk about strategic planning, many sub plans are included in under the vision and mission. So when you talk about vision, what is the objective, strategy, tactics, and plan? And likewise for the mission as well. So what is the framework of a successful organization? You can see this particular chart. The framework of the successful organization is the people, culture, and organization. It remains as the fundamental of the organization. Now, the organization has technology, finance, operations, sales, and this is basically the infrastructure which is required. And for execution, you need leadership, vision, potential, innovation, core competency. So that is what it is. So for a successful organization, the focus has to be on whatever strength you have. What is your strength? Technology. What is your strength? Finance. What is your strength? Operation. What is your strength? Sales. And the most important strength what you have is people of your organization, the culture of the organization, and the organization itself. That is how the framework has to be. Now, when you talk about business planning and delivery, the strategic plan should support the business plan, and business plan should be supported with the sales and marketing plan, and eventually it should be supported with state sales plan, regional or industry plan, and new information feedback, and thereby this loop continues. Now, vision is a critical driver for any development of the any strategic plan. To succeed in the long term, your business needs to have a vision and a long term vision of how you will be changing and improving in the business in the future as a business. So without a vision, the people will perish. The vision of the business gives you energy. It will help you keep motivated. It will help you set the direction of the corporate and marketing strategy. So vision is the most important thing, which I have already shared with you, that this is at the topmost. Now, how this vision is being driven? So vision will provide future direction. It will express as a consumer benefit. It is actually realistic. That is why it will give us the motivation. And everyone has to have a commitment and must be fully communicated towards their vision. Consistently followed and measurement of your vision will ensure that you focus on the future direction, you focus on consumer benefit, you focus on motivation, and this is how the circle gets completed. Has the company got a strong, clear mission? That is the next question. So the business mission is important to your sales and marketing planning. It provides an outline of how the marketing plan should seek to fulfill the mission. It provides a mean of evaluating and screening the marketing plan and marketing decisions. It provides an incentive to implement the marketing plan. So this is what purpose, why the business exists. Then value and culture, what management believes in, standard and behavior, the rule that guide how we operate, strategy and scope, what business are we in and how. So the strategic process, you can see it start with the assessment, then baseline, components, specifics, and then you will have to focus on evaluate. So when I talk about assessment, you will have to focus on where we are currently. So when you see where we are, you will have to focus on environmental scanning, background information, situational analysis, and SWOT. Baseline will be where we want to be. So baseline and components, situation, past, present, and future, which will be guided with the mission and vision, significant issues, which will be guided with the values, guiding principle, align fit with the capability through the major goals, and gap are going to be fulfilled with the specific objectives. Similarly, when you talk about specifics, it is performance measurement, target and standard performance, initiative, projective, and projects and action plans. And for the evaluation, how are we going to do that? Performance management, review progress, take corrective action, and feedback streaming plan. Now let me take it individually. Assessment. So when I talk about assessment, SWOT is something which is very important. So SWOT, in the SWOT you have got internal things. What are internal? Strength and weakness. They are going to be helpful and as well as harmful as well. Okay? And then externals are opportunity and threat. Let me see. When you talk about SWOT, this threat is external and harmful. This opportunity is external but helpful. Again, weakness is internal but harmful. Strength is internal but helpful. So internal assessment is very important. Organization assets, resources, people, culture, system, partnership, and suppliers. They are all your internal assessment. When you talk about external assessment, marketplace, competitor, social strength, technology, regulatory environment, economic cycles, you have no control over these, which means what? They are beyond your control. So when you pair up, list the organization strength and the weakness, list the outside opportunity and the threat, and at least 10 you will have to focus on giving time to the time in matching these. Then you focus on baseline. Baseline includes organization profit, how operating environment, which includes products and services, organization culture, workforce productivity, infrastructure, and regulation. And business relationship includes organization structure, customer relationship, and partner relationship. That is how the organization profile goes. Now, how will you pair up? Describe the operating environment in terms of products and service, organization culture, workforce productivity, infrastructure, and regulation. Then you will have to describe the business relationship in terms of organization structure, customer relationship, and partner relationship. And then you will have to present to the group. Identify the gaps between the reality and the ideal. Identify the specific action that needs to be done to achieve the ideal. Then you focus on components. Now, component includes the most important thing, that is vision. It all begins with an ideal vision, a panoramic view, a mega dream of the kind of society that we want to establish for us and the children of tomorrow. This is what the vision is. Vision must be a point to the future without trying itself down with the negative thinking about the past or present. It should identify a clear set of desirable conditions that is written in a format in which all components represent observable or measurable end. Vision must communicate hope, energy, and destiny for all rather than discouragement, distrust, or depression. So sample of vision statement is we at EMDC, it's like any organization I've taken, envision a harmonious global community with where progressive critical thinking and active individuals take pride and dignity in their culture and national identities. So this includes what? This includes the envision of the global perspective. Okay? It includes the progression of the organization. It includes the creative thinking of the organization. It includes the individual per se, and it includes the pride and dignity in their culture and national identity. So it is actually the complete package which should be focused when you think of building the vision statement. So you will have to use a lot of adjectives when you focus on building the vision statement, like it is a society driven, it is end oriented rather than activity driven, outward looking, concise but comprehensive, communicates hope for all to share, must describe the ideal description of a community and its people at some point in the future. Means of attaining it are excluded. Full of objectives, consider in advance the contribution of an agency or its realization. So, when you formulate the vision, you will have to answer the following questions and list down your answer. What kind of word? When you talk about word, you're focusing on community and country. Do you dream for you and your loved ones to live? What kind of people do you dream to live in and your society? Make a social photography of our present society from the social, political, economical, culture, and environmental milieu. List down what you like in our current society, which you can reinforce, legitimize, or rationalize. List down what you dislike in our current society, which you can change. Using objectives, convert your answer into numbers like 1, 2, and finally you reach to the vision statement. You will have to polish the output in number 3 to ensure that it communicates hope and inspiration for all. Then you will have to check the criteria for determining a good vision statement. Now, vision statement checklist has to be like this if you really want to make a good vision statement. Is it a society driven? Is it end oriented rather than activity driven? Is it outward looking? Is it concise? Does it communicate hope for the share? That does it describe the ideal description? Does it meant for attaining the excluded things? And does it full the objective of the organization? So such kind of things you will have to focus on. Once you are settled with the vision, you will have to focus on mission. Mission is what we do. Always remember, vision is this visionary statement for the organization, and mission is how and what we do to reach to that mission. Mission is actually, it is a precise description of what an organization does. It should describe the business the organization is in. Like for example, if your organization is in pharmaceutical sectors, you should focus on you know putting the point which is related to pharmaceuticals. So what you are actually exactly doing should be a part of your mission statement. It is a definition of why the organization exists currently. So why an organization exists, that signifies the mission. Each member of an organization should be able to verbally express this mission. Now, sample mission statements which I am showing you, let us have a look at it. To explore the universe and search for life and inspire the next generation of explorers. This is the mission of NASA. Again, EMDC, provision of holistic education for the development of prospective, dynamic, and talented young men and women as catalyst of social transformation. So this is one or two examples for the mission statement. Now, what are the checklists you should have when you design the mission statement? Put the adjectives stated in the vision statement in a multiple quadrant. List down your core competencies, where our organization is good at, core values, the industry that your organization is in, and the market, publics, clients that you are intent to serve. You will have to juxtapose number 1 and 2 and then formulate your mission statement. What can your organization contribute to the realization of a part of your mission statement? Then the next checklist is use a noun form such as terms like production, provision, etc. of student graduate, which critical description of how they look like. It must be broad enough to inspire all but narrow enough to have a focus. Brief and concise and must not include the means of operationalizing it. Now, when you focus on mission and vision, I have just taken EMDC as one of the companies. So, envision a harmonious global community where progressive critical thinking and active individuals take pride and dignity in their culture and national identities. This is the vision. And mission, I've told you what you do is actually mission. So, provision of holistic education for the development of prospective, dynamic, and talented young men and women as a catalyst of social transformation. So, vision is actually the ideal, what you want to do, and mission is actually what you can do. Okay, so goal is what we can achieve, then after mission vision it is goal. So when you talk about goal, you will have to describe a future end state, describe outcome that is supportive of the mission and vision, and shapes the way ahead in actionable terms. Best applied where there are clear choices about the future, puts strategic focus in the organization. Specific ownership of the goal should be assigned to someone with the organization. May not work well where things are changing fast. Goals tend to be long term for environment that have limited choice about the future. So when you talk about sample goal statement, it is like Eastern Manila Development Center will deliver the highest standard of education for foreign and local standards in Rizal. This is what I've told you, that EMDC which I've taken the example. So the here it is mission, here it is vision, and here it is goal. So goal actually helps in meeting the objective. Like what a question is, what are the objectives? So you will have to focus on SMART. What is that SMART? Your objective has to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be attainable, it has to be realistic, it has to be time bound. So that is what it is. Okay, so when you talk about objective, it has to be realistic, relevant, directly support the goal, compels the organization into action, specific enough so they can provide and measure the result, simple and easy to understand. The objectives are realistic and attainable, conveys responsibility, ownership, acceptance, and must may need several objectives to meet a goal. So this is the difference between goals and objective. What is goal? Goal is a very short statement with a few words, whereas objective is a longer statement and more descriptive. Goal is broad in scope and objective is narrow in scope. Though it is broad, that is why it is explained in a small words. As it is narrow objective, it needs more description. So directly relate to the mission statement, indirectly relate to the mission statement. Covers long time period such as 10 year, and it covers short time period such as 1 year budget cycle, right? So this is how your goals and objectives are done. So when you pair up, given the mission and goal, list at least 10 objective for the organization. It is like be smart. Then you focus on specific action plan, goal, get the goal. Now, types of organization planning, that is standing plan, single use plan, contingency plan. Standing plan include policies, SOPs, rules and regulations. Single use plan include program and project. Contingency plan includes alternative course of action to cope with uncertainty and change. Now, when you talk about action plan, identify the specific steps that will be taken to achieve the initiatives and strategic objective, where the rubber meets the road. So support each objective, point towards the operational procedure and processes, describe who does what, when it will be completed, and how the organization knows when steps are completed. Require the monitoring process. So when you will have to get into the action. As a group, draw an action plan for the each objective and write the plan on the action plan. Then evaluate. Hitting the target. When you need to monitor and evaluate. So monitor and evaluation is done through the periodic cover. It is like the introduction, planned output versus actual. So other output not included in the plan, problem encounter and recommendation. So when you sum up, it is like the strategic process looks like this: assessment, baseline components, specifics, and evaluate. So when you integrate all the components from the top of the top of the bottom, you are you have your vision VM goal. So what is this VM goal? Vision, mission, goal, objective, action plan, and resources. So get early wins to create some momentum. Seek external expertise where possible and permissible. Articulate your requirements to senior leadership if they are really serious about strategic execution. So values underpin all we do. Values form the foundation of a business management system. Values provide the justification of behavior and therefore exert significant influence on the marketing decisions. Values underpin all we do. An example is provided by BT Group defining its values. Yeah, we put customer first. We are professional. We respect each other. We work one team. We are committed to continuous improvement. Right. So this is how you will have to focus. Then you go for strategy is the direction and scope for an organization over the long term, which achieves advantage for the organization through its configuration of sources within the challenging environment to meet the needs of markets and to fulfill stakeholders' expectations. Now, what is strategic audit? Ensuring that the company resources and competencies are understood and evaluated, you need to go for a strategic audit. Strategic audit should include resource audit, value chain analysis, core competence analysis, performance analysis, portfolio analysis, SWOT, and PEST. PEST is something, friends, which is quite new, which I don't know whether you have heard or not. That I will explain later. So you need to work within the company resources and constraint. What are the financials? The existing funds, new funds required, physicals like production, marketing, sales, R&D and technology, human like existing staff, future requirement, training and development, intangibles like goodwill, reputation, brand, intellectual property. So objectives of the corporate and functions, you can see there are objectives that concern the business of the organization as a whole. Okay, then the function, specific objectives for the sales and marketing activity. Then comes the value chain analysis. Value chain analysis describes the activities that take part in the business and relate them to analysis of the competitive strength of the business. So this is what value chain analysis, and it includes certain steps like primary activities, support activities, and linking value chain analysis to competitive advantage. That is how it will help you differentiate and will help adopt a strategy based on seeking cost leadership. Yeah, so this is how your value chain looks like. Identification of clients necessity, this is your market identification. This overall yellow portion is innovation process, orange portion is operational process, and post sale process is green one. So this is your value chain looks like. Yeah, so when you focus on steps in a value chain analysis, you will have to break down a market organization into key activities. You will have to focus on the potential for adding value to it and determine strategies which will build around focusing on activities. So what are your core competences? Core competences are those capabilities and critical things which a business must achieve in order to have a competitive advantage. That is what core competency means. I'm not taking more about core competency, but competitive advantage is what? Competitive advantage is a company's ability to perform in one or more ways that competitors cannot or will not match. If you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. The four generic strategies. What are those? Broad target, narrow target, low cost, differentiation. So the generic strategy should include broad target and lower cost is cost leadership. Narrow target and lower cost is cost focus. Narrow target and differentiation is differential focus. And broad target and differentiation is differentiation. So other characteristics of competitive advantage is substantiality and sustainability. When you seek competitive advantage, you will have to focus on position of the advantage, performance of the advantage, and source of the advantage. Now, where to compete and how to compete? You can see this is customer, this is channel, this is product, this is geographical market. So target customers and segment, how does the entity reach its target customer, quality and breadth of the product lining, and geographical scope of the business. So this is how your overall thing look like. Now let me explain the Porter's 5 forces of competitive position. Now competitive position include buyer process, new market entrance, supplier power, product and technological development. Yeah, so the Porter force includes rivalry among the existing competitors because of the threat of new entrant, bargaining power of buyer, threat of substitute products, and bargaining power of the suppliers. So this is how your focus looks like. Now, how do you actually differentiate strategic versus marketing plan? Strategic planning is actually concerned about the overall direction of the business. It is concerned with the marketing, of course, but it also involves decision making about production and operation, finance, human resources management, and other business issues. The objective of a strategic plan is to set the direction of a business and create its shape so that the products and services it provides meet the overall business objective. Now, when you talk about marketing, marketing has a key role to play in strategic planning because it is the job of marketing management to understand and manage the link between the business and the environment. So that is what is the difference between strategic and marketing point. Now the key issues in strategic and marketing point are like, where are we now? How did we get there? Where are we heading? Where would we like to be? How do we get there? How we can move on? So the marketing plan will help to analyze the ability of the business, identify the source of competitive advantage, gain commitment to a strategy, get resources needed, and inform stakeholder in the business. Now, when you do the SWOT analysis, I have already told you it includes internal as well as external analysis. I will not go to it. I have just explained you. So it is your business. So you will have to focus on neutralizing the threats, convert the opportunity, and address weaknesses and build on the strength. So this is what it is. Now, when you talk about TOES metrics, what is TOES metric? It is like strength and weakness, opportunity and strength. So SO is your strategies, ST is your strategies, WO is your strategies, and WT is your strategy. Now let us see. SO strategy pursue opportunities that are good fit to the competitive strength. WO overcomes weaknesses to pursue opportunity. ST strategy identify ways that the firm can use its strength, and WT strategy establish a defensive plan. Now I was talking about pest analysis. What is pest analysis? Political, economical, social, and technological. Now, when you talk about pest analysis for the market business proposition, you will have to see the political issues like ecological, environment issues, the current legislation, future legislation, economical issues like economical trend, overall economical taxation issues. So all this. When you talk about social, it is like lifestyle trend, demographic. When you talk about technological, it is like dependence technology, maturity of the technology, etc. So pest versus SWOT. A pest analysis most commonly measures a market. A SWOT analysis measures a business unit, a proposition or idea. So generally speaking, a SWOT analysis measures a business unit or proposition, whereas pest analysis measures the market potential. So this is how your things look like. When you talk about management control and evaluation, 5 disciplines which must be a part of a strategy has to be personal mastery, then mental model, then shared vision, then team learning, system thinking, and it is like the project management process which I have explained it. This is activity, this is time. You can see this. This is initiating, this is planning, executing, controlling, and closing. So this is how your project management will look like. Now, what are the success keys development? Success versus failure is what? Assign roles and responsibilities like a success. When you have no accountability for the deployment, it is like a failure. When you establish priority, it is a success. And when you have too many goals strategy with no priority, it is like failure, and likewise. So this is how your success and failure look like. Now let me put everything in summary. Steps to a strategic plan are actually vision and mission at the first, SWOT at the second, setting a plan time, capabilities and need assessment, determining objective and evaluation. Then when you do the SWOT analysis, focus on the goal objective of the organization, design the marketing plan. Step 1 is mission, then is vision, then SWOT analysis, goal setting, objectives, capacity assessment, evaluation, and a note to leave on. More time is always better for a strategic plan, but you may need to break it down into 2 sessions to keep people's sanity intact. Getting a far as a SWOT analysis may be enough for one day, and likewise you will be focusing on. So this is how you will be able to design your complete strategy plan. I hope you have liked it. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day ahead.